Friendships come and go. What does that mean, right? What does that mean? Who are we to tell people what friendships are treasured or special versus those who filter in and out of our lives without a fuss? You see, there are some in our hearts that will say, I needed a break from Brenda. She's had those experiences, but this isn't about her. It's about the nature of how do we let friends in and how do we let go? Many will say there's no clear boundary between who we are as souls. So it's like fissure. There's a fissure unit that is going to be brought through. It is a broken policy that many have to say, I can just cut the cords and be done with it. Many assume there is a cord of attachment versus our souls were creating for so long, correct? The soul level keeps creating from various fields of development. So that vision of I'm connected and now I'm not usually is disregarded by this female. And we're going to tell you why. The nature of actually saying that you aren't putting energy out towards anybody is almost ludicrous. It's whether or not it's felt as such, right? I have a random thought. That's one thing. Did I put out a lot of thoughts towards one person versus my soul is giving me the information from someone who I am creating with very often, and it is often not the most pleasant experience. That's where most people are thinking, oh, wait a minute, they come as well. So happy birthday, right? How many people are having a revelation of this idea of happy birthday, I get to joyfully create with my friends on my birthday, right? When we feel the vision of my friends are acknowledging of my love and my affection, right? How many of us know what it's like to feel the friendships as various levels of understanding? Who do I pour my heart out to versus who do I entertain with my wisdom versus those who I say, I love who you are no matter what. Those are our cherished friendships, the ones that are the deep-seated souls, right? This is a deep-seated soul that we have with Brenda, and her vision is, let's do a great show for all of us, who are either in that vision of, I am in the struggle of letting go, or I am in the new birthing of a new soul that wants to come in, but is not ready to until I have carefully examined the future and told myself, I love who I am, whether or not you agree with who I am or not. This is the general acceptance that many are struggling with in fields of vision of spirituality or religion or whatnot. It can be politics. There are so many fields of vision that is like the divisive vision of love, but we want to caretake the hearts of those who say, no, I was belittled or I was hurt on a level. This isn't about I was just disagreeing with somebody. Most of us in this field of vision are very aware of how to disagree and still move on with our vision. We can disagree on what it is to let go. We can disagree on what it is to hang on. Some people will continue to come into your vision as a soul and say, I want you in my life again. I just don't know how to ask. That's the reaching out of soul vision. I want you in my life, but I can't ask because in my mind, I know you are of hate. That's what some people will say. They'll say, you are hating me if you don't let me in. But the honesty of who we are would say, can you not understand why some people are saying, whoa? We have those situations that come into our field of vision and tell us, I love who I am and I love who you are as you are. But together, we are not creating from a place of, others would say a plenty. Others will say, we're not creating from a place of friendship. It's more like values and the deception that many are feeling. This isn't to excuse anyone's behavior, but it is to tell you that you do keep continuing to create with those souls. Now, we're going to give you an example of a sentence. Beloved is my soul. We unite with our souls and we say, I love you. I'm not ready to handle the information you're trying to give me, from a certain soul who is still concerning themselves with who I am from various planes of understanding. If I wanted to hear from them, I would have reached out. That's where Brenda was. She was hearing from friends and family members on a soul level during a painful encounter with her own vibration. And she said, if I need to be rescued, I will let you know. Right? I don't need support and understanding on a soul level. Do you want to know why? Because I have planted the seeds of those souls here in my vibration that I cherish and honor, and I expect my own vision to take care of my own heart. It is a learned pattern. Others would say, I am so grateful to hear from those loved ones on the other side of the veil that want to come through and support me during their own vision of what they went through when they opened up to the nature of, well, it was abuse of some sort, and after their crossing, right? It's not even those who have crossed. These are other souls who are coming through saying, I value your friendship and I'm there to hurt you, is where some souls will say that their souls are. We are honest. Some souls say, I come through to try to hurt somebody, right? That's a negative vision of what someone was calling Brenda. You are negative. You are not inspiring to me. I need to be lifted up into the reality of how to create amazing, amazing journeys with people. And that's a good focus. But what happens when there are those of us who are saying, I'm in the struggle of my life and I'm trying to let go? Okay, that's where some people are. They are literally, I'm trying to free myself from the pain and misfortune of relationships gone asunder. Okay, it could be a spouse or a friend. They all are those relationships that come and go in our hearts, and the nature of how we do it can be a struggle for many, but we're honoring the vision of I love you no matter what. We're just not creating the way that I want to. You see, you're always creating with those souls around you, but it's up to you and I as souls to decide, how do we want to create with each other? And if someone is saying it's time for us to, it's like go our separate ways, let's honor that vision. There are many who are angry and bitter at others who have let go of them. And in essence, it doesn't mean your feelings are being invalidated. It means that what's happening is you are also creating a dynamic of dependency on somebody. And that's what often happens, is if you are like, I cannot let go of someone who is in the field of vision of, I need to move on, or I need to go my separate way, then you have to ask yourself, what is it that that person is inviting in me that is asking me to go in and do the work? To ask myself, why do I need a person of wealth, potentially, or of heart? Maybe they felt the love at one point in time. Maybe the relationship has changed its dynamic. You would be surprised how many people are very fluid in their vision of love for others, and yet they expect to be loved by all. Now, when we go to that vision of love of all, does that mean that we hold on to those who don't want to be held on to anymore? Right? Or do we try our best to deal with the situation in a way that allows for more of those souls that actually align with who we are and make us feel good, or make us feel honored, or make us feel, well, we would say happy, but that's just a general vision. When you stoke the fires of soul, as so many do, we can bring those friendships to a grinding halt with one word. I hate you, right? That's 3. I hate myself is what that says. But what we're saying is, in essence, on a higher level of love, or the highest for the most part, people are rejecting people because they remind them of issues, or they remind them of aspects of who they are themselves. They just don't want to see it in the mirror. That's a difficult scenario for most people to understand, right? So what that means is that for those of you who are in this spiritual enlightenment vision, it's why we try not to disconnect in a way that's going to cause more harm or hurt than necessary. But we do have to honor our vision of I no longer serve you as a victim. So there are many who are, I was a victim of something. Now, whether or not it was actually an action or a reaction to something someone said or did, it's very dependent upon each soul to understand the dynamics within that are allowing for those visions to come through. I love my best friend. I love my best friend. I love my best friend. I have best friends, and that's where most people go. I love my best friend. I have soul visions who I say are my best friend, and in essence, I have so many best friends that I utilize for their love and support that I don't actually, it's like I don't care for the idea of even saying my best friend, because I love all for who they are and what they are bringing to the relationship. And if that vision is I hurt now, it means there is a dynamic of growth opportunity there. But does it mean that I stick around for more of the same? More abuse, right? We're not talking abuse, that's a different kind of vibration. We're talking about people who've aligned themselves with friends or family members who claim they are of friendship, and then they battle you with their words and they take you down in their minds. This is what Brenda was hearing. I know what I know. I know what I know. That's what another soul would say. I know what I know. So when you come to that vision of, are we truly creating from a place of I love you and we belong together as a couple of friends enjoying each other? Or are we creating dynamics of competition? Or, well, others will say there's evildoers in that vision. It's not about evil or good or bad. It's about, do I align with this vision? Some people will say, you were meant to be in my life forever. That's a misnomer. One, there is no forever in the sense of relationships. We do disconnect in certain instances, but that idea of I am forevermore yours, amen, right? These are those ideas of religious aspiration that would say we forevermore create in the name of another soul. And that's fine. That would be your connecting point to a vision that is of the high, but is still stoking the soul vision, right? Into one of, I don't need to justify my words, but I will justify my vision. If you have people who think that you are forced to make amends before you cross over to the other side of the veil, we're gonna talk about that. What happens if you say, I'm good, and you keep telling yourself, I'm good? Now we're going to give you an example. Brenda said, I had to let go of someone because I knew I wasn't going to be able to create with her in this vision of where I'm at for a long, long time, if ever, because of the vision of I lost my trust in that soul. It's not her soul, it's just the expression of who she is here. So I do hear words of love from that soul, but I was hearing words of discomfort from many others who knew Brenda was going to be, it's like, it's detoxing from soul vision is where some people would say that many need to go. But literally, you will understand the nuances of love when you do that vision, because you will get those visions of love handed to you, but you will also get the reality of what you are creating. So for those of you who are saying, I love who I am, I love you too. But it doesn't mean that we are going to be hanging out together forever in the astral field as well, right? How many people are now in the astral realm? And they realize that they come and go in different fields of vibration. And that is the nature of it. Many are like spiritual warriors or whatnot, and they're coming through and they're saying, I have now reunited with my own heart or my own mind or my own soul or my own vision of higher guidance or spirit or whatever. And then they say, I can no longer vibrate in the vision that you are holding for me. You want me to be your caretaker, and I am no longer able to do so. How many of us are caretaking of so many people in our minds that we say, I'm done. I am done, I am done, I'm done. I can no longer rescue all the souls that need to be rescued in their minds. This is why we utilize the vision of soul growth, and aspirations to those higher realms can be very beautiful. But we have to deal with the issues of everyday life. Many are just saying, you are not in my vibration, and now we are gone. What hasn't happened is there has been a disconnect, but on the soul level, there is a reunification process that often happens with those souls if it hasn't been clearly resolved. And they will often look and see, what did we do? What did we create? How did we create? Can we do a better job? And then we may or may not decide to reunite with that soul on a different plane of understanding and see, how did we do in this field of vision? So you see, this idea of time is very limited. It's a limited edition, to be honest. I don't need to create from a place of evermore, amen, but I honor that vision for those that do. When I'm in the field of guidance, what I don't do is I don't allow myself to freely create with all of those who are in the vibration of you are bad because of who you claim to be. You see, this is a persona, right? This vision of future doesn't come through as often, correct? I'm not here to tell you your fortune at this point. Okay, that's a vision questing vision that I do with friends, and then I give them the paths of discovery that are available to them, and they can launch themselves in their careers. Hello, I know who I'm talking about. Your career vision is beautiful. Margarita is being mentioned and guided to bring through the strength of her soul. She says, I adore that vision and I want to create more with her. When do we get together? When do we enjoy each other's company? Excuse Brenda. That's the name of the game. Many who are on the path of I'm a warrior are trying to take others into their vibration that are saying we're all on the same side or we are all of love. There's so many different ideas about who we are to be. So let's not forget those flavors of love that we all claim that we love. But yet, when it comes to someone else saying, I am now reunited with my soul, and my soul says it's time to go. That's the nature of where Brenda is. Her soul will let her know what's going on. And it's a beautiful vision. Others are very fearful of that. You do not have to be fearful of what is being relayed in the moment. Right now, this is about a connecting point with our souls and the love of each other from a soul level as well. Okay, so on a soul level, the love is all there. What we don't do is we don't disconnect from the reality of the moment here. So some of those messages of doomsday that many people are portraying in their visions on the screen, we have people who are believing in that. That vision has been discontinued for the most part by the soul of Christ. And his vision is indeed going to be coming through with the visions of what that is. And there is a reason that vision comes through, because Brenda keeps getting hounded by those who are saying that the Christ soul is a fake. That is not true. There are those who are saying the Christ soul was already here and gone. That is one aspect. It's from a different, it's like level of understanding. What we do is we honor the vision of those souls for who they were, are, and will be. And they keep growing. They keep transcending. That's what we do. We don't sit in one spot. So that's the nature of who we are even here. So as a soul, when you have reunited with your soul wants you to grow and expand, but not be in the field of vision of I hate who I am. That's not what our souls do for us. We don't get belittled by our souls. What we do is we then say, why am I hearing what I'm hearing? If I am the vision of Brenda's soul, I would say I'm giving you the reality of the world as it is based on where you're vibrating in. And sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's not pleasant. Sometimes I have to revisit the victim mindset that I created for myself for a long time. And sometimes I have to reunite with those who know how to help me unwind that vision. My own soul knows to guide me to a better place of love. And that's the beauty of your soul. Your soul will let you know where to go. You will get those guidance messages saying, please go to the next door neighbor and introduce yourself. Or please go to this place and time, right? That can be very specific. So I want Margarita to understand that she's embodying her soul in the vision of love, of guidance, just as she is. You don't need to do any more than what you're doing. You're on the path of, it's like glory, okay? It's that field of I'm illuminating others and my vision is bright. And that's a beauty. You create with many who are in alignment with who you are, encouraging and inspiring you to the beauty of more and more and more. Do not worry about the mindset as much as your own vision is. I can inspire through my words of wisdom that come through naturally from not just my mind, but it's the beauty of my soul, and envision your heart being held very much so. But it is soul vision that you're creating with. Now, for those of you who honor the vision, she is, I need to leave. And that was the disconnect from that vision of she's being honored as a loving, caring soul. Others will say, I was aligned with the vision of love and then I felt the hate. That's where many are with people. I was at once at peace and joy, and now I am in the vision of I am of hate. Or others around me are in that vision. That's the hardest one for some of us to deal with. Others are saying there has to be a disconnect between the vision of I am an empathic being that picks up on the energy of those around me versus the idea of my mind can disconnect from the safety. It's like the safety value system that I've held so near and dear to my heart. I create from a place of vibration, but I also know when I am in the field of vision of I need to create with souls who help lift me up to remembering more of who I am, it's from a different level. I have my horrific kind of visions of what I was like and what I've done in various realms. That's why it can be hard for us if we do create with that vision of a judgment day. Many would be scared to death of their pain, right? No. It's a beautiful moment of reflection. It's a beautiful moment of joy. You do not only get the pain points of your soul's vision, you get to relax into the vision of, I messed up on my mind. That's where some people are. I messed up with my mind. I shouldn't have said or did this. Those regrets are something that are natural, and inhibiting the expression of it isn't the best way to go. But in essence, if you are in the place of I love who I am here, that's the beauty of loving your soul, loving your life, loving you for you. This is that nature of I accept who I am in this moment. I may have done wrong, right? That's a debatable vision, but many will say, no, there are pain points that we look back on and we say, ouch, that didn't feel good and I'm sorry. Right? Many people are just in that field of vision of, I love you even if you hurt me. And that's a dangerous place to go to. Do you understand why we don't tell people that they must forgive or that they must stay in relationships where they are continually being hurt, whether it is in the physical realm or in the mental realm. These are vibrational frequencies that we vibrate in. If my mind is telling me I'm being hurt by somebody else in my presence, that is a sign that I need to think about my relationship or my boundaries. Right there, okay, boundaries are another subject to concern ourselves with at another time. But it literally is that idea of, am I here to stay because someone told me that I needed to? But am I here to stay because I want to work on myself, or do I expect another to change? And that's why some of us are very much in the I love you for who you are, right? I can honor you is what we say. I honor you as soul, and I honor myself enough to know that it's time for me to choose another. It's like choose another topic, right? So some people want me to choose another topic because it's hitting close to home. I'm the one that stays in a relationship because it is convenient, right? Why am I staying in a painful situation? Let's think about those difficult relationships. How many of us would say, I don't have any control over what is said or done to me? Okay, so that's where we can get into those ideas or those visions of who's being hurt and why. Others will say, I don't like conflict. That's Brenda's vision. I hate conflict. I will let people go gently for more. It's like for more visions. Yeah, that's the nature. We let people go. I don't need to be perfect, do I? How many people are trying to be the perfect souls? And then they go and they do all of these things and they realize my relationships are still falling apart. And some people will say, I honor that vision as a spiritual warrior. I come here to speak my peace, right? Am I speaking of peace or am I speaking of anger? If there's no bad, that's a natural expression, but usually the anger is not necessarily coming from those higher levels of love. Usually there are issues that we're holding on to in things that we feel we know more about or that we feel like we should communicate about, and we want the people of Earth to vibrate in it, right? Let us tell you the lesson of love. Most do not like being dictated to. Most do not want to follow anybody else's vision. Most do not want to hear about Christ coming down in the next 20 to 30 years, correct? It's a 30-year journey for his soul before he becomes more enlightened. That's the nature of who I've got on the line. Okay? And it's not a doomsday scenario. It's actually a revelation of the actual teachings that were messed up in those books that most people are utilizing. All the words are not of love, is what some people would say. They are all loved. It is about whether or not they were utilized for the best of intentions, right? So we're going to talk about intentions when it comes to our friendships, right? I have the best of intention when I tell Brenda that I love her, right? Do I tell her I hate her in my mind and then tell her I love her to her face? Do you know how many people don't know how to communicate? Do you know how many people don't want to communicate? Do you know how many people are saying, I love you and I need to set you free? That's where we go. Most people are still thinking that we are all uniting under one flag, right? That is the end of the story for most. This is a global vision of love. So for those of you who think that there is one soul that's going to have all the answers for everyone on this planet, you have been misguided. And we will gently lead you into those visions of what that soul may or may not reveal when he does come through from the vision of I am of Christ, I am of Jesus, and I'm here to reveal his wisdom. Many are utilizing those books thinking those are the actual words that were utilized. Some were indeed memorized. However, it has been used. It's like the abduction of soul. He feels like his soul was abducted because of how many people claim they are utilizing the words of wisdom of him versus it's like the revealing of their own souls that are allowing for that vision to come into their vibration and to feel the beauty of it. Your own soul never leaves. So you are able to bring forth the vision of, I love my soul, I love who I am, and my soul is connected to all. So once you reunite with that vision of your soul is your best friend, and it's like, stop fearing your own soul, stop fearing your own best friends, right? Your best friend is your soul. And people will say, but that doesn't feel right to me because I am in the vibration of another soul who is of the highest. That's right, he is. Where do you think your soul is? So that's why those ideas of, why am I creating with those ideas that somehow I'm less than another soul? Others will come through with their ideas of vibration and frequency bands. Those are frequency bands. They are not levels. It's going to be seen as levels by some. It depends on your expression and your own soul's wisdom. So it's like there is nothing stopping anyone from creating from a field of hierarchy, but Brenda has nailed it when she said, I am there already and I bring it to me. It's why I don't demean the vision of your own soul's wisdom, but it doesn't mean I have to create with the idea of wherever you think you are versus the reality of where you are. But you're pretty darn high. It's just a matter of it's like whether or not you can bring it to you or not, because it's a revealing of who you are and a bringing to you of who you think you are, as well as who you really are. I'm the INFJ mindset in my mind, but I know it's an identity label that I've placed on myself from here. Do I create with it? Yes, because it allows me to spiral myself up into a vision of love for all personalities. It's a vibrational frequency of love. It doesn't have its characteristics that many would say they want, right? So many people are taking on these labels of love and saying, this aligns me with people who are in the same vibration. And we want you to remember that those that you surround yourself with are only one aspect of who you are. There's more to you than what you even realize. And that's why we want to gently say thank you for watching. Enjoy your visions of love, of friendship, whether or not they are of current in your mind or if they're of the past. Be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, why do I resist temptations, right? Many people are dealing with temptations as well. And we want to say that vision of repression is no longer valid. We are stopping that vision of I have to repress my emotions or my feelings so that I don't hurt someone else's feelings, right? It's about the communication styles that many are utilizing and the visions of what it is that we do. Okay, I am no angel is where Brenda goes. She has her moments with her children sometimes about the anger. We all have those visions. It's not of abuse, but it's the I love who I am enough to get angry. And then I have to hear about the grief that I repress, because in essence, it's usually about my own attachment to my ego about what it is I want, right? I want this or I want that, and therefore I'm angry, right? I have to deal with others' anger is usually where it's at. Others are angry with me, right? Because I'm saying no. That's the kind of stuff that we have to deal with. And those visions are very fleeting for most of us. Most of us know how to deal with those anger issues. Most of us know how to deal with the honesty of our family trees were not the best for us, right? They were the ones you chose, so therefore the lessons in them are of strength. Whether or not you liked it or not is something for you to discover when you go into another realm of love. So with that, we want to say thank you again and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Cherish your friends, whether they are of past, present, and let's invite those future ones in, for they are the charmers of the world as well. That's for Brenda. Good night.